So it is about the third week of June, and so I thought, why not go ahead and do a garden tour for June. I just walked out here. I was going to show you my passion flower plant that I got at the Homestead Festival, but then I saw this. So this is water. I set this down in here just to soak up some of this water, and I've been kind of rotating these plants in here so they don't die. This is one I got at Rural King. It looks much better already, and it was like on sale for 75% off, and I can't resist a plant. So it was looking kind of bad, but now it looks kind of decent. But anyways, I'm not really sure. I've never seen that before, like moss growing on top of water, so I don't know. But I think these are loofahs that planted themselves in my greenhouse. I put them in the garden and they were getting kind of wilty looking, so I brought them in here. This is a Fireworks double Althea, so some kind of a hibiscus variety or something that I got on sale. This is a maple tree that I dug up out from beside the house, and it actually has some newer stuff coming out, but of course I had to cut the roots because they were kind of down in there. But this is my passion flower plant, and they are so cool. I just love these. This one already bloomed, so it's kind of dying off, but they're so gorgeous. They're just so neat looking. I just love looking at them. So the little herb area is growing crazy this year. I've got all kinds of stuff. I've got all this spilanthes that I planted. I just sprinkled it last year, and now it's coming up like crazy. You can see it over here where those little the little blooms, or the little like flower heads are. So those are there. I believe this is the stevia that I can't remember what that is actually. I think that might be stevia, but I've got lemongrass and oregano. My feverfew is getting great big. I got some pink yarrow the other day. This is the lamb's ear that's doing well this year. Some more sage, and I think this might be a chocolate mint that I got. And this is my thyme that I've kind of like divided and moved around everywhere. And then this back here, let me see. Oh yeah, so this is the Tulsi that I got. I had to get another one because my other one didn't live very well. So that back over there was stevia. And then I've got just some chives and some lemon balm that I split. This is mint, and I got some more sage and some more spilanthes coming up. This is catnip that actually I bought this one and this one at the same time, and this one's huge. The anise hyssop is of course growing like crazy, and it is very vigorous. It just will plant itself everywhere, so it is basically coming up all over the place. But I've got cilantro coming up inside the bed and outside the bed, and now I have some little coriander seeds out here, so I'm sure I'm going to have more. But let's walk over to the garden and see what else we have over there. I don't have as much outside the garden, I don't feel like, as what I'd have before, but I do have a few things over here that have just come back up. I haven't really planted anything over here this year. Some of this is from last year, and some of it is actually just came up from seeds falling, and some of it has came up from stuff that I bought last year from Rural King when it was like, I don't even know, $1 or something. It was crazy. So these are the elderberries that I guess I either missed, and I'm not sure what's chewing on those, but I either missed them or something. I'm not even sure what that one is. I'm gonna have to look at my book to see what that is. This is a plant that just came up volunteer that I had planted before, and it's really neat because the blooms stay right on the stem. It's kind of cool looking. And I think this is more lemon balm over here. Another one of those self-seeding, got some of those, some more of a type of bee balm. It's a little bit different color than my other one. And then thyme. I had one thyme plant, and I have just kind of moved them around and split them off, and they've done real well. The ferns were really pretty earlier, and now they're kind of dying off. They do get quite big. I got these from my grandma's house, and they get really big. Now in the spring they're really pretty, but they're kind of starting to die off a little bit now. Here's where the hyssop started. So you can see back here, this one back here needs a little bit of water, but I didn't plant it in there. It did its own thing, and I think it might be coming up a few spots in this planter over here because I don't have anything in there. So all my lilies, those back there were really pretty. They have already bloomed, and so now I've got all these coming up all down through here. I love these, and they just expand, I think, more each year. I do have a few different colors sometimes in there. So this is a pumpkin that I planted. I think if you saw my other garden tours, I planted a pumpkin right here, and it's actually doing really well. I've got it trying to go up the this trellis here. I had one over here, and it just didn't live. This is new. We mulched some bushes. We mulched some branches, and so I put this in here. Here's the elephant ear that I'll have to probably move inside. Lots and lots of violets and yarrow, horseradish, comfrey, all of that. I've got dill coming up over here. There's tomatoes coming up over here. It's just everywhere. This is definitely a chaos garden, and I just saw something that I'm super, super sad about. These don't look so great. I've got to do something with these. But like tomatoes, these are all volunteer tomatoes, all of these. Kind of move some of them around. These are my citrus plants that are actually, this is the first time they've been out in the garden, like under just full sun. And they seem to be doing okay. I've got some raspberries and some grapes out here. I've got to figure out where I'm actually going to put those, or if I'm going to need some water. So if we go over here in this first bed, this is where I had all my carrots that I already picked. And I've got some squash and different things over here. Cabbage, which I'm not sure. Those were just a couple that actually made it. And so I planted those. But I've got like potatoes coming up out here, just out here, not even in a bed. The asparagus is kind of a mess. So I just picked beets out of this bed. So I do have to figure out what I'm going to put in here. But I do have a little lonely cucumber and I think a bean coming up over here. More potatoes. Not sure. Like, I didn't plant those, so whenever I moved these beds, they must have came up. And then I've got some marigolds over here. These aren't doing as well as what they did last year, so I'm kind of disappointed in those. But the dill is doing really well. It's coming up everywhere. I've planted sugar snap peas along this side and this side like 2 or 3 times, and they have yet to come up. So I'm just going to wait a little bit till it cools off and do like a fall planting. I have harvested kale. I've got a couple of kale plants over here. Trying to keep this deer netting up a little bit so it kind of keeps the chickens out. And then I just have like volunteer stuff. I have gotten green beans, and I have canned a few jars of green beans. But like tomatoes, they're just coming up everywhere. And I'm pretty sure that is possibly a burdock coming up. And looks like I missed some beans over here, but like tomatoes, I've just got tomatoes coming up everywhere, and dill just like everywhere. My little nasturtium looks a little better. I think might be calendula over there, but my nasturtium, it looked really good, and then it looked like it was going to die, and it looks better now. So I've got more like tomatoes. This one was a volunteer, and I did move it, and I'm gonna have to really pay attention. It's got some little tomatoes on there, so that's pretty exciting. I've got some squash here. But I also have squash. If you'll notice, this is just a mess, like chaos total. Like all that is either spearmint back there, and it's just like, it is so big this year, and it's coming into this bed. It's even coming out here. But I've got tomatoes in here, but I also have squash, and as you'll see, I haven't done a very good job. I forgot all about these, and so I have to get in here and get that taken care of. But I also have the borers, which unfortunately I think is just killing these plants. So we come over here, and I've got some squash plants in here that I need to check over. And there's a dahlia back there, but I need to check these over because I just noticed one of my squash plants that was beautiful like yesterday looks horrible today. So again, all volunteer tomato plants. I have put them up, trellised them, put them up on something, and I have trimmed them, and I have a few little tomatoes on here, so that's exciting. Again, more like all my tomato plants that I have planted that are big are all volunteer. They came up, and I have just moved them, and luckily they have lived. And this one right here, look at this. I'm not joking. This was huge. Yesterday, there was nothing absolutely nothing wrong with this plant yesterday. I have no idea what happened. I don't know if it has borers in it. I'm guessing that might be the issue down here. But I guess I'm gonna have to, I did harvest a little round zucchini, but I'm gonna have to get on here, I guess, and look at the leaves. Yeah, like right there, that guy right there. I'm gonna have to get in here and get rid of that. But I do have some cucumbers coming up back here, so that's good, because my other ones didn't come up very good. Got some more kale over here that's coming up. I have been harvesting this. This is like cool kale. I think this might be dinosaur kale is what it's called. I can't remember. Of course, I have dill. Do not have a short supply of dill, so I need to probably dill some stuff, I guess. I don't know. Potatoes. All right, so potatoes look like they're starting to die off. So this will be some beds that I will get to harvest and then plant something else in. Now, of course, comfrey. I have comfrey everywhere. Like it's here, and then I believe it's down here as well. Like it's everywhere. So this is a volunteer plant right here. This is a volunteer, some kind of watermelon. So I put it up here on this trellis, hoping to kind of keep it, out of the walkway. I've got a chicken over here hiding out. And then more potatoes coming up volunteer, and more dill coming up just wherever. Now I did have, last year, I had rhubarb along this fence line, and I don't think any of it's coming up. And I think that's probably my fault, because as you can see, I have stuff over there and I probably shouldn't have. But here's the tomatoes. There's crazy, which I mean I'm good with, because I have lots of blooms coming up. But like all these tomatoes are all volunteers, so I don't know. The only bad thing is some of them are those tiny little bitty not grape, but they're spoon tomatoes, and they're so tiny. Doesn't look like that's what these are, but I haven't even done anything with this one, so this bed just may get left to the chaos. But this one, I do have some plants. Actually, this one doesn't look too bad. But that one over there, I can't even really see anymore. So I don't know that it's going to make it too good. Okay, more dill. Lots of dill. And then look at this patch of mint. It's like, it was not near like this. But I think I kept it mowed and weed-eated closer. And so now it's just kind of gone crazy. So you plant mint where you want it. It's probably never going to leave there. And I think this is a little loofah plant. I had to kind of put him up here a little bit, get him out of down there. I think he was trying to compete too much. There might have been one over there, but I don't see it anymore. So lots of violets and lots of hibiscus. And then I do have a couple of golden seal over here. I don't remember how many I had. That one doesn't look so good. And then there's one back over there too. But at least, I mean, 2 of them made it. I planted the golden seal last year or the year before. And this is the first year I've actually seen it come up. And there's just 2. And I do still have the elderberries back here, which eventually are probably going to move. But it's just like, I'm telling you, it's like crazy this year. But as you can see, I don't get stung by something. This has huge rose hips on it. It's kind of crazy. If those were on there last year, I don't remember them, because I sure didn't get any of them. So I'm not really sure. I don't know. I'm going to have to keep an eye on those, because I do want some of those. That's one of the reasons why I planted these 2 Ragusa roses. All right, so we have the fig plants. Hopefully I get more figs this year. I did get at least 1 fig last year. It did put on more, but then it got too cold. So, because they seem to die back every year. So I don't know if that's like what it's supposed to do or what. One of them is supposed to be hardy for our zone. But let me show you what's going on with my branches on my blueberry bushes, my trees, and everything else. All right, so if you can see the dead spots, like there's just dead branches randomly. And then sometimes there's like branches broken off. Well, I thought it was the chicken getting up in here, and trying to get berries, trying to get blueberries. But I just don't think so. Like, look at this one. I don't know. Does anybody know what this is? Because I'm not really sure. Like, it's just, you know, like these are broken off, but these aren't. And they're all over. Like, I've already pulled some off, but you can see that there's some in here. It looks like there's even, I'm not sure about that, but like the top of this tree here, there's one in this one. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of like I've never, and I can't tell if something's been gnawing on it. Is that cicadas or what? This one does. I still have to check and see if that's actually going to be a good tree or not. Little birds getting pretty close to being butcher time. We did trim a big oak back here, but you can see like there's just some leaves on these trees. You can see, I mean, I don't pay attention to some of the stuff, fruit I didn't pick, but I don't know what it is. Like, it's all over. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a tree that doesn't. I was looking at this one. I don't see, well, I don't really see any on this one. But I might have already pulled that off. I don't know. So, I don't know what it is. So if you know, let me know. I did figure out the caterpillar tunnel. So it was the ends. I wasn't keeping the ends tight enough. So I've kept it up like this for quite a while. Through rain and some heavier winds. And I did have an old pull tarp in here that I did put, and then I put concrete blocks down the middle, but obviously I need to put some on the outside because the wind just kind of blew it to the inside. So at least I did do that, or it probably would have been completely out of there. My peonies, some of them bloomed. I think I had 2 that did not bloom. The yard's actually a little highish, and I want to get that cut soon, but it's just kind of chaotic here. I'm kind of just going with the flow this year because I don't know, things are just not either coming up right. I don't know if it's me, if it's the weather, timing, or what. So let me know if you're having any issues, if you're having weird branch breakings, if you're having issues with your seedlings, or, you know, pests or whatever it is. Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to be lovely lights today.